Hi, Mom.
Hi, son.
So on the way over here, there's a guy on the freeway who I thought was chasing me. I guess I'm just filling them in on the stuff. Whoever's listening. I went up to my mom's place in San Francisco, and there was like a Chevy Volt in front of me at one point, and they hit their like windshield spray with the wiping thing, and it got all over my windshield. And I got pretty pissed off for a second, and I just sped up and got ahead of them. And I don't know, I think they noticed that, and I think they just kept maybe following me. Maybe they just wanted to keep trying to fuck with me or something, just like with the fluid, the windshield fluid and stuff. Or maybe they just wanted to, I don't know. But I kept losing them, and they kept creeping back up, and I kept losing them again. But I did finally lose them, and I made it up here. So yeah.
Did you see the driver?
No,
So you don't even know if it's a guy or a girl?
no.
You don't know if it's an old lady or an old man?
It could have been it could have been anybody. It could have been someone who's generally washing their windshield.
Their windshield.
And that could have been something, but I was still pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I know that kids do that. They
Yes.
spray the thing just to mess with other people.
So what do you think? So now, right now, you're like, you're kind of like, is stress the right word? You're irritated. You're
Yeah.
irritated. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Um,
I'm irritated, I guess.
I don't know if that person is irritated or not, but certainly you are, right?
Yeah.
And that irritation, it actually like it actually when you feel irritation, all of the cells in your body actually feel it too,
Yeah.
and they react to it. All the cells in your body also react to it.
And you know what
So-
I was thinking though?
What were you thinking?
I was thinking that I feel like I've heard about like a type C personality or something. I don't know what the type is, but there's a personality, there's people who they don't complain about things and they internalize things, they don't, let out their feelings and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they get cancer and they die.
Ah, yeah.
And I don't want to be the guy who, the thing, you probably tell me to just let it go. You wanted me to let it go. People want me to let things like
Sort
that
of.
go and stuff like that, right?
Sort of, but
And maybe letting it go is really fully letting the thing go. But when I hear letting it go, it's like you don't want me to react to that. You want me to suppress the feelings. You want me to not be angry about it. I think that's, you don't want me to be angry about it, right? You don't want to be irritated. And so, in that moment, I was thinking like, I don't want to keep this in. I don't want to just be very angry, but not be angry and force myself not to be angry. I want to let this out. I don't want to have it build up inside and get cancer or like an aneurysm from this stuff like that. Just the other day, there was like a car. I was on the way to work, and there was like a car, and I kind of drive fast, and I was in the fast lane.
You drive real fast.
There was a car like really slow in the fast lane, and I knew there was like a construction zone coming up, and I was gonna slow down to 55 for sure, and I would, and I will when I go into the construction zone. But I want to get past them going into the construction zone, so I'm not slow, and going even slower when I go into the construction zone, because then I lose out on time and stuff, and they did. I couldn't get past them going into the construction zone, and I didn't. I really wanted to be like, they must have been someone who's like a cautious driver, like an old person or like a new driver, and I want to forgive that, but at the same time, you made me slower. You slowed me down, and that made me like, I wanted to get angry, but I really tried to not be angry because I wanted to forgive them and they're driving responsibly, But in stuff like this, this car with their windshield stuff,
So why is it that guy's fault?
Huh?
Why is it that guy's fault?
What guy?
The guy who's driving slow.
Yeah. Well, they're in the fast lane. I
Do
really
you know
believe
that okay, technically the speed limit,
Yeah.
the speed limit, say it's 55,
Yeah.
okay? That should be the fastest you go.
Theoretically, yeah. But that's like the slow lane. You go 65 in the slow lane.
No, you go less than 65 in the slow
You
lane,
should.
and in the fast lane, the highest you should go is that 65.
You should, but realistically, people are going like 78
Mhm.
to 80 to 80 something to 90 in the fast
Yeah, that's why there's all kinds of
lane. I think
people.
that's what it should be though. These
Oh.
people are driving responsibly. Fast and responsible, and they're looking out because they don't want to go to an accident or nothing, you know? And they're in the fast lane. And if you're slow, you should move over. That's a law. If you're slow in the fast lane, you should move over.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's all
true,
based
but
on, it's all relative. Too.
but if that person was an old person, they won't know that they're slow. Wait till you get old.
I'll move to the slow lane. I'll move to the slow lane and I'll get cruise control or something.
What if you don't realize it? You think that that's fast for you because you're old.
I'm gonna turn this down a little bit.
Sorry.
No,
Did I hurt your ears?
that's good.
That's fast. When you're old,
I think I
that's
was
fast for you.
Yeah, but I think those lanes should be, the fast lane is like 80 something, you go around 80, the middle lane 65 to 75, something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And then the slow lane is like 65, or less. I think that makes sense.
That's okay. Well, I'm glad that you think that makes sense, but that's not what the law
That's
is.
not what the law is right now, but it should be. That's what it should be. I don't know. I wanted to get to work, and I was going into a construction zone where I would slow down and go to 55 for sure. But going into that place, I didn't want to go slow into that. I wanted to meet that place as fast as I could.
Then go over to the other lane.
There was all these other cars in the other lanes. I
Well,
couldn't get
then,
around it.
You're stuck there and
And
just
it was
go
like
with the
that
flow.
one car and such a huge space in front of them, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. But okay, so can I finish what I was going to say about your cells and stuff?
Uh-huh.
Because you're thinking about cancer and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not asking you to forget it. I'm not asking you to suppress it. I'm just asking you to be smart about it. Okay? Right now, you're irritated and your whole body's reacting to that irritation.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that causes the cancer. All that stress, the whatever, what's the cortisol in your brain shoots up because your those thoughts that you have about that situation is causing you stress. So if you don't want the cancer, because stress causes cancer. So if you don't want that, then what you can do to be smart about it is, okay, can I cuss?
Yeah.
That shit happened.
Yeah.
F that guy or girl or old lady or old man, whatever.
Yeah.
F that person. And I'm right here, right now. Done.
I don't know.
F that,
And the moment.
So, because you're saying you don't want to suppress it, you want to okay, speak it out. F you. F that person. And then
I don't
gone.
want to be that guy though. I see Chris do that. I see Chris have road rage sometimes.
Well, don't do it,
I don't wanna have
at the
road rage.
person. Just when you're, okay, so that's actually perfect that you don't have road rage, right?
Yeah, I don't want
But
that. Yeah.
when you come to your area here, when you're in your safe space and it's still bothering you, right? That's when you say, F you, you're going to get your karma.
I don't.
Because the thing is,
Okay.
I'm going to get my karma if I'm going to keep thinking about it, ruminating about it. My karma is immediate. I've got stress with cortisol. I've got my body's. I'm just not stable. It disrupts my emotional state, and it makes me totally unhappy. It contributes to my depression. Well, now what the heck? Do I really want that? Or can I just say, okay, that person is some screwball in this world, sucks to be him, and here I am doing this thing now.
I can't just do that. I can't just.
Why not?
Because my mind's always going on.
You choose. You can choose what you do. You can choose what you think.
This is what I was doing. I was driving, right? I was listening to this album, and there was a song coming on that's kind of like a chill song, and I was thinking like, this just happened. I'm gonna pause it. I don't want to let that song play because it's a nice song, and I don't want to be angry while the song's playing. And also, while I'm getting away ahead of the person, I'm thinking it's just best if I get out of the situation ahead. But still, this is going through my head. Not playing the song. I should just get away from the situation. But still, I'm looking in my rearview mirror to see if they're creeping up, if they want to be a offensive driver, a competitive driver, you know. If they're coming up just to try to mess with me some more, just looking if that's on their agenda. I'm not even looking to see who they are, if they're old or a new driver or anything.
There's so many ifs.
But it's all this is going through my head.
Yes.
And it's continuing to go through my head.
Yes.
And there's some parts
It
where I'm
causes
controlling
depression.
it. There's some parts where I'm like aware of it, but it keeps going.
Yes.
And still now, I'm still
So
thinking
then it's
about
your
it.
choice. Do you want to keep it going, or you want to just do something different?
I'm afraid to just try to stop things in their tracks and not feel it. And
You're
also
feeling
there's, like,
it right now, though.
Yeah,
Okay, now
I just-
you're done feeling it.
I don't let it go. And then
Yeah, why not?
I don't. Well, then
Why
there's like
not?
the extra consideration of like, I don't want to be quiet. I don't want to be a quiet Asian guy, right?
Wow, that's a total concept. You're so racist against yourself.
No, I don't want to be that. That's the stereotype.
Yeah,
Some
that's
people.
that's
it's
the
not every-
stereotype that
It's
you.
it could be in my head, sure.
Yeah.
But there's some people who would expect me to be quiet. There's people who expect me to not react, be a model minority, and just take it. I don't want to just take it. I don't want to be quiet like that. I want to change the standard. Like, no, this is something that would piss any regular person off. I don't have the.
So,
not,
and then
I don't
what?
have the. I get a little pissed off too because it's normal, and I don't want to
Sure.
be forced not to be pissed off just because of this. And that's just something extra I added on top of that. Nobody said it. Nothing about race came up. I just came up with that. And this is like my mind
Yes.
continuing to go.
Yeah,
It's the same with
you're
the kids
just
with the
creating
golf
your
ball.
own hell. You're creating your own hell. How about create your own heaven? Thoughts create.
I don't know. I
Take control of your thoughts.
I have gray hairs. I have gray hairs, and I feel like they could be from stress from school, but it's also probably from like I don't think I should react to this, so I'm gonna try not to react to this, and I'm gonna try to suppress my feelings about this because that's the proper thing to do.
Okay, then
Because
don't suppress your feelings. How will you express your feelings then?
Like a regular person.
Okay, like do it now. Do it.
No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't spray my thing. That gets me pissed off. That pisses people off when you do that. You shouldn't do that to me. And I'm angry about that. And I'm gonna be okay being angry because it's okay to be angry about this thing because any regular person would be angry about this thing. And I think I'm behind. I think one of the reasons why I'm continuing I let this take over my head is because I'm behind on that. Because I've had like a big lifetime of not just being Asian, but just being in the group of friends I was with. I'm not allowed to react to things. You know, they're always getting on my ass about overreacting. So I'm like, no, I have to quiet down. And so like for a long time, I was like, no, I have to shut up and just grin and bear it.
Sorry, you had
And
such
so,
rotten friends.
You know, maybe like now I'm behind on letting things out, and it just occupies my mind for longer because it stays there longer because I've had the long time of not doing things that every time a new thing comes up and I want to react to it, I just let it go, you know, in my mind, and it keeps going for maybe days until I don't know. I think I have like stomach problems from this stuff. I don't know if that makes any
Yes.
sense.
Yes, it does.
But you remember
Stress
those kids?
causes increased gastric acid.
They threw like the ball in my car, and I was so angry about that. I don't know if I should say this so I get arrested for this, but I had like a murderous rage. I really wanted to hurt these kids really badly. You know, and do something terrible to them. And I think whenever I think of like God these days, I think it's like God exists to, you know, punish me for that murderous intent. think if there's a God, he saw me and how angry I was and was like, you need to chill out. And so I'm going to give you like diarrhea for a couple days. You know?
TMI.
And
Just
my,
kidding.
and my stomach was messed up after being really, really, really angry for a couple days. I don't know. I don't want to get diarrhea over this one-on-one chase. This one-on-one, whatever this was. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just stretching my back.
Oh, okay. There's like a hum in the background from like a heater or something.
It's an old-fashioned radiator.
A radiator.
Because
something
this is, most buildings in San Francisco are antiques. They've got character. They've got this rounded ceiling. See that rounded ceiling? Rounded ceiling, crown molding,
Oh, I've been looking
and an
for a
old
place.
radiator.
I've been looking for an apartment,
Where?
like San Jose, Santa Clara, somewhere. I guess for myself. I don't know.
Just you?
Yeah, I was gonna move out with Winston, but I don't know. We can talk about that later, I guess. If there's anything to talk
Take this
about.
place.
I need to go to school and work and stuff, so maybe someday in the no, I don't know. Anyway, that's not what I was planning on talking about for the podcast.
Okay, what are we talking about for your podcast?
Have you listened to the other ones?
No, I feel really badly.
No, it's better that you didn't, because I don't want you to know. Because I'm probably gonna ask you the same stuff I asked Chris. I had Chris on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. You ask Chris and then ask me the same stuff and then we'll compare notes.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna listen to Chris's.
You know what? Now I'll start with this. I'm off lithium now. I stopped taking it.
No wonder.
This is like my second. I was angry. I had a rage, but while I was on lithium, you know,
Mhm.
I had that rage over those stupid kids. But when I was on lithium for that,
Mhm. How many days have you been off?
I think a little more than a week and a half now,
Mhm.
almost 2 weeks.
And how are you feeling?
Yesterday I was kind of depressed, but before then I was feeling pretty good actually. I was getting a lot of things done that I wanted to get done. Yesterday was just a little bit of it, I don't know. There's some disappointing stuff. I went to a place, it said it was like $1,500 and it was like a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom place. And it sounded like a scam, but the guy gave me the address and I stopped by, I looked at it, and then I asked the neighbor if anybody lives there, it's vacant. So some of it checked out, and then I asked again, would you be comfortable giving me the code to the place? He's like, I'm not in town, you know.
Oh, that's one of those scams.
Yeah, it's a scam. It was a scam, and that was disappointing.
Yeah.
I was disappointed by that. There's some other stuff, but
If it's too good to be true, it's a scam.
But there's like a whole. I don't want to be gullible, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out on something that's like a steal.
No such thing as a steal.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter. How do you feel about me being off lithium?
A little bit worried, a little bit anxious about it,
Yeah.
and I can't control your life. It's your life, and I'm pretty comfortable and confident enough in your judgment that, you know, when you feel like you probably need to get back on it, I expect that you will.
Yeah.
That's the what do you call it when you're the optimist in me. And as your mom, I'm still worried about it, because I don't want you to go to that deep, horrible place where I could potentially not have you in my life physically anymore,
All right.
because I love you so much. You're my life.
Well, I tapered off over 4 weeks. That's like, I saw a site on the internet said you should taper off at least over 4 weeks, so I did that. And I think I told you I tried to call the psychiatrist, but they didn't help so much. They didn't want to.
Yeah,
Because
they don't
gave
want to
me-
take you off the.
they gave me somebody else. They didn't give me my main psychiatrist.
Oh,
And so
why
they were
not?
like, oh, let's wait for your psychiatrist. I didn't want to wait because
Oh.
the earliest appointment I could get was like, well, I called them like, I think 2 months ago,
Mhm.
maybe last month, either early last month or late the month before last. And the appointment that I have is like this month on the 25th, August 25th or something, which is ridiculous. It's also my life.
Did you keep it? Did you keep the appointment?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
Keep the appointment.
Yeah, but it's my life. I want to do this on my own time. I have to work on my own clock, and that's what I did. You know, if you don't want to help me get off of it safely, then I'm going to try to do it as safe as I would know how to, you know.
Thank you for being responsible.
So, I was trying to be responsible about it.
Are you like journaling so you can kind of keep tabs on how you're doing? Or,
Well, this podcast is called Off the Lithium, and this
Oh,
whole thing
okay.
is like, it's like coming off lithium and stuff.
is this podcast every day? No. How many times a week?
Every Wednesday, but this
Oh,
is
once
like,
a week.
this is gonna be like a bonus one.
I'm a bonus.
Uh, stuff.
Wait, so you had one last night?
Yeah, it was
With whom?
stupid.
With whom?
It was just by myself.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm sorry. We were supposed to do it last night.
That's all right. It was
Yeah,
actually
but-
better for me.
I was hanging out with Winston,
That's good.
and he was like, "Oh, maybe we'll do one," but we never did because he had other stuff. He had work in the morning and it got too late. Forgot about it. But yeah, I just recorded it after I dropped him off.
Mm.
Yeah. On that one, I talk about being an alcoholic, I guess. I'm usually drunk. for
Are you an
these-
alcoholic?
I think so. I'm not drunk for this one because I had to drive up here and stuff.
Please don't be an alcoholic.
I think I feel like the definition of that is like relative to everybody. But I think by like a more professional definition I could be. I don't drink every day. I watched this interview with like Dick Cavett and like it's Dick Van Dyke, I think. I think it was Dick Van Dyke, and he was like an alcoholic. And he was talking about like, yeah, you could not drink for like a couple months, but you could still be like an alcoholic. Like I'm sure I could stop drinking for like a long time, but I think I'd still be an alcoholic somehow. I don't know. I actually don't know what the definition is. I'm just going off of that. But no, I did get into it. If you want to listen to it, it's there. If you want to listen to my podcast at all. I talk about how I kind of got into it while I was over in Colorado. And that's not what I want to talk about in this one. But cut off lithium responsibly. I plan on doing some psychedelics sometime. You know? How do you feel about that?
Which one?
I think I want to stick to natural things for
Thank
a
you.
while, but not yet.
Please, no synthetics. Actually, none of that. But if you have gotta do what you gotta do, then
Yeah.
natural is the way to go.
I don't want to get like a psychologist, but I realized like it's one of those depressing things in life where like I'm looking for something that doesn't exist. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. I wonder though, like, you know, that like Johns Hopkins in New York, and there's probably other institutions that are doing studies. Maybe Stanford's doing one. Stanford's like close to you, on psychedelics, benefits of psychedelics, and you know whether it can treat treat. Yeah.
No, there's things like maps, but I didn't want to go to them for that. I did want to go to them relating to that stuff because I kind of wanted to enjoy those things without having problems like I did it last time. But I wanted to go to like a professional so I could work through like
Yeah.
my brain stuff outside of the drugs, and then just so like if I ever do drugs, it's not interrupted by my own mania, bipolar stuff. I wanted to work through that and stuff like that, but there's no job that does that that's professional. There's people who could like trip, sit, and stuff, and there's therapists who could talk about feelings and stuff. But it's one of those things where you're looking for somebody to do a job that doesn't exist, pretty much. You know what psychologists do? They just give like evaluations. They don't analyze people or anything. They just give I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what they do. They just give like an evaluation for like, oh, this person has this or that, and they don't do anything past that. And I don't really want to go to a therapist again because I just think that's a waste of time. I feel like I hear like the sound changing. These are like really sensitive microphones on this thing. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Could be.
Maybe we should change rooms.
No, it doesn't matter.
But that sound kind of makes me feel like I'm in outer space.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So maybe I'll try that tonight. I'll listen to it and try to lucid dream.
Yeah. Anyway, I asked Chris about this. I was talking to Chris about, have you been seeing what was going on with Kanye West? Probably
No,
not.
what's he up to?
Well, he wanted to run for president.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think he registered in some states,
Oh,
but I'm not gonna diagnose him. I'm not a professional, but I feel like he's in like a manic episode right now. I see like a lot of things that seem similar to my stuff. I was talking to Chris about that. I guess I could talk to you about it too. What happened? What did he do? There was like a rally he had, and at some point, well, he said some stupid stuff that, I don't know.
wow, he's even having rallies.
But he was talking about like, I almost killed my daughter. I was almost killed. He was talking about abortion, you know? And he used like extreme terms. I thought that was really similar to the stuff I was on when I was manic, you know? He was like blaming his wife for a bit. I think he's calmed down. He's a little bit better now. I don't know, but I think he was pretty manic. I don't remember everything that it was a while ago, it feels like. But anyway, I had a manic episode. And what was that like for you?
When?
When I was manic, when that
Oh.
my manic episode.
It was
I was out here for
interesting.
some of it.
Huh?
I was out here for some of it.
In San Francisco?
Yeah, in the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part was scary, kind of a bit frustrating,
Yeah.
and scary. And I was grateful that you somehow found a way to call me, or the guy called me. Yeah, I'm so grateful for that. Angels were watching over you for sure, and so I'm grateful. Thank you, angels. And it was scary. It was scary, frustrating, scary. At first, I thought it was interesting because all the stuff that you were saying, they actually made sense to me.
That's what Chris said too. Some stuff I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really like very fast, advanced thinking. That was like it was.
I don't want to give myself any credit like that.
It was like very deeply insightful. But then it didn't turn off. Like you know, if I mean, you couldn't sleep and stuff like that. And so if it weren't for that part where like you couldn't sleep and you couldn't rest and your brain couldn't rest, so that it actually lead to a negative, some negative consequence, it was kind of interesting. I almost want to say nice, but I don't want you to. I don't want it to happen again.
What?
And the manic part where like you just
Really intense. I'm saying
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff that sounds like it makes sense, but it could be really crazy in real life if you think about what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure.
no. I thought everything sounded awesome. I think everything sounded like it made sense except for when you went off and you. I don't know what you were thinking about putting your keys somewhere to your car
Yeah.
and your bike. I mean, like, some people got so lucky getting some,
Yeah.
so,
The key thing, that was like, I thought God or the universe was trying to tell me things, or like the whole world became like a thing I had to figure out. Everything was codes and stuff, and I had to like figure things. I had to solve it and stuff. And I thought there was like a reward at the end. Like I thought I was so determined. You remember I was so determined going to where I was going. I don't know if I want to get into that right now. But I was so determined because I was like, once I reach there, I'm gonna go back to normal. Everything's gonna go back to normal again.
poor thing, I'm sorry.
And I wanted to get back to like
Yeah.
normal. Cause I think I do. I was like, this is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. There was one point, it was Chris and me in the backyard, and we had his bong, and we were taking hits from it. But I just decided, like, there's like this stem in the bowl that goes in the bong, and I just hit it straight from the bowl, which Chris was like, that's like really high temperature.
That's terrible. I mean, you could have like,
I could have set my lungs on fire.
yeah.
But I was fine after that. And I was like walking around and I was saying like, your hair is magnets, but it's also receiving like signals or something. That doesn't make any sense, but I really like, oh, your brain is your hair. I don't know about that.
It's true.
I wouldn't want to encourage this idea, you know?
See, but you've got some insight. Yeah. Well, I'm
This is
just
hair. My
telling you.
hair's hair. It's just, it falls out. You shampoo it. It's hair.
You know why yogis keep their hair long?
Why? Because their antennas? I think that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Their antennas?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's what I was saying when I was manic, when I was crazy. Is that a real thing? I doubt it. I don't know.
It's up to you.
That's- yeah.
Yeah. It's actually a real thing.
I don't know. Well, there was this one time that I remember, I don't know if it was like the peak of things, but there was like a peak that I brought up with Chris. And I was in bed. I think you were like right next to me. And then, I don't know where Dad was. I think he was around. I think he might have been with Chris at the door. There was cops coming in. I think you called somebody and they sent people to maybe check me into 5150 or something like that. Like cops.
No, Dad was out of the house. Dad wasn't home.
Okay.
You wanted an appointment to go see a therapist, and then so you called or I called. You wanted me to call or to schedule a therapist because you weren't feeling so good.
Okay.
And then you didn't want to, you wanted you changed your mind, you didn't want to go.
Okay.
But for some reason, we called to counsel or something. And then that person on the other line
Yeah.
could hear you talking and was, I guess, assessing the situation.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm pretty sure she's the one who sent the police to come and check you out. Because
Really?
remember, she kept asking if you were okay, if you were safe. I don't remember, but yeah. And Chris was like, Chris is pretty smart. He knew, like, he knew stuff that I now know. Like, if those cops ever got to you and they felt like they couldn't control you, they probably would have shot you.
I was thinking they were gonna come and shoot me or something, or at least
Yeah.
take me away. I didn't want that either.
I'm so grateful that Chris kind of kept you inside your room, even though you felt like he picked you up and threw you on the bed. I'm so sorry about that, but he was actually trying to protect you.
Yeah. What was that like? What was that like for you?
I was grateful for my son. I was just very confused. I understood why they were there. I figured out that that person on the other line, that therapist or whatever, felt like maybe there was something going on here that you just needed to do a wellness check. So they came to do a wellness check, and
Sounds dumb.
that's what they call it. And then, yeah, so I talked to them, and they just wanted reassurance that you're okay. And I said, yeah, you're okay. No, you're not, like, there's no weapons around there. You're not gonna, because these past few years have been very difficult, right? People who have mental illness, they start shooting. So so now people are more high alert with anybody who they can't figure out what they're doing. And so, yeah, Chris had the wherewithal to make sure that you didn't have any interaction with them, because you were like, oh, they're gonna shoot me, like, right? When they see you panic, they panic, and then that's when.
Stupid.
I know it's stupid, but
The
look at
cops.
look at what happens these days.
They get panic and they shoot something.
So stupid.
Yeah.
But that's why we have to make sure we protect you. That's why I'm kind of worried, because
About coming off with you.
yeah, like right now I'm thinking, as I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm worried what you're gonna do driving home.
Just 'cause I
Is
got
someone
angry.
going to like trigger something in you, and then maybe the person will have road rage on you?
What?
God help us. I'm just gonna ask Jesus to guide you home, bring you home safely.
No plan on having road rage. I don't know.
I love you. You're just the most. People don't realize you're just the most awesome, sweetest person ever. They don't know. I mean, you're a guy and all, but at the end of the day, you know what's important, and you take care of people.
I guess. Sometimes. I don't know.
All the time.
On the last podcast, I was like repeating and also playing with some of the effects on my new EQ board thing. I was saying like there's a lot of people who care about me and I don't care about myself or something. 'Cause I drink a bunch. It feels like, I guess. It seems like I drink a bunch. I do drink, like when I'm sad though, sometimes.
That's how alcoholics are born.
That's how I started. I was sad and I drank about it.
Yeah, so you numb yourself to whatever the situation is.
Yeah. I think these days I'm more better about it. I think it started me being sad and then drinking because I didn't want it. I was talking about it on the last podcast, like I didn't want to feel sad about what I was sad about. So I was like, this is stupid how sad I am. I'm just going to drink, and so I'm getting numb. But I think these days when I'm sad, I'm like, no, I'm going to be sad. This this is sad, I'm sad. You know, I'll just let myself feel sad, I guess. I wanted to talk more about the mania, but I can't think of much else. What other thoughts do you have on like what happened with the mania?
Like I was disappointed in myself that I didn't really like recognize that it was like mania as in really bad,
Yeah,
because
it never happened before. We didn't know what it was. I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was,
yeah.
so it's not like we knew what it was. or
Yeah.
how to deal with it.
And to me, everything you said made sense to me,
Was it just?
except for,
They
you know.
seem like more excited about stuff.
Yeah, but the stuff that you said was very intelligent.
Uh,
Very, very intelligent, deeply insightful. I mean, it was like you were a savant,
nah.
genius.
But that was me being manic.
Yeah.
I was in a manic state,
Yeah.
I guess.
You know, I read somewhere that the people who are, why don't you sit in that chair and just relax? You want a meditation chair? I got a meditation chair.
No.
What was I gonna say? I read somewhere that the Native Americans, like the shamans and the medicine men, you know, the truly Native Americans that really really practice their culture.
Mm.
Their belief is that people who we term as mental illness,
Yeah.
they're just actually those people are operating from a different dimension of reality, and that's all. It's not an illness. It's not a mental illness. It's just you're seeing a different reality. You're experiencing a different reality, and that different reality, that different dimension, does exist. But we're not in that dimension. So we just have to let you be in your dimension and we be in our dimension, like that. So that's what I read, and actually that totally rings true for me, especially that I'm learning more and more each day that there are many dimensions. Like there's a first one dimensional, right? 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. There's a 4th dimension, which is time, and then there's a 5th, there's a 6th. There's many dimensions. There's many ways of reality, right?
Yeah. But maybe if I was in another dimension, that didn't matter. Everybody's here in this dimension. And if I'm still in another place, other people will be. If I don't come back to this place, they could just destroy my body. I guess that's how I'm thinking about it. If I'm manic, and that just means I'm in another dimension, I'm still manic in this dimension. And so
Right.
what they're gonna do is take me into a psych ward
Yeah,
and keep me inside,
that's the horrible thing that we do in this dimension.
I can't work out, I can't.
Yeah, it's
I have to
horrible.
eat with the
Sorry.
food they have,
I'm so sorry.
that's what happens.
It really sucks. I'm sorry.
In this dimension. So maybe if I'm like in like some higher plane or something, on this plane my body still can
Here.
be controlled.
Yeah.
And I know that I'd have to come back, for people who are worried about me, they don't know what's going on. I have to communicate to them in this dimension
Yeah.
in language that they understand,
Yeah.
so don't sound crazy, so nobody 5150s me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
But the world's waking up little by little. It's too slow, but
I don't know. Well, so I don't like to be 5150. I really don't like it. I don't I don't think anybody, there might be some circumstances where somebody's like a threat, right? And maybe there's some measures that have to be taken, but at the same time, I don't think anybody should be 5150, really, mostly generally.
Yeah.
So that said, let's say, I'm off the medications, let's say something comes up again. I'm talking crazy, I'm saying a bunch of crazy stuff, and I'm clearly manic. What do you do?
That you need to get evaluated for medications to relieve your symptoms.
Well, you're my mom, what are you gonna do as a mother? There's other mothers who have children with bipolar disorder, and they maybe have never dealt with it before.
Mhm.
What are you looking for? Just based on that one experience we had so far.
As much as possible, I would want you to stay home. And just, if you're gonna be manic, stay home, and then, we get you to a doctor, a psychiatrist, and we get you kind of stable. We get you stable, because, and basically I want you to stay home and make sure that somebody's always with you, because we need to make sure that the wrong people don't get to you, and then they don't understand, and they don't freak out like some stupid cops or stupid people who gonna call stupid cops. So,
Would you keep me inside, or like you wouldn't?
as much as possible, but if you didn't go inside, then I'd be next to you, or Dad would be next to you. Like, we would all have to take turns being right next to you, making sure that you're okay. I mean, that's if that were to happen again, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'd leave work, whatever, and I'd ask Chris to do the same, and whoever one of us can get to you the as closest and get to you the fastest, we gotta get up and go. And then, we have to give ourselves a break too, because if we wear ourselves out, then we're no good to be able to take care of you. So we have to take turns.
Well, when you say that, I was kind of conscious during my manic state, right? I had some consciousness. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to fight. I wasn't gonna fight Chris, even though he had to manhandle me. He had to throw me to the car and throw me on the bed. I didn't like that. I wouldn't recommend that to people, to try to force people to stay home. Because people might be more violent than me. They might react worse than I did. They might fight their own family members or their friends.
Yeah, I hope that they don't. But Chris, because the longer you stayed there in that place, that was a car rental place, right?
Oh yeah.
The longer you stay there, the longer those people are going to, the more worried and anxious those people are going to be, then they're going to call the police.
I guess.
So Chris had to do what he had to do to get you home.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the police get to you, either they're stupid police and they panic and that you get shot, or they take you away, 5150 you, and then we can't see you.
Yeah.
Because you're an adult, and then we don't know where you are. Then we just worry, can't sleep, can't eat, can't do anything, we just worry.
Okay.
So we have to, my ask of you is that if you begin to be in a manic state, that you let us know, and you just say, I'm starting to get there, and so that and we know, and we're gonna be right next to you.
I don't know if I do that.
I wish that you would.
I don't know if I would.
Would you please do that?
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't know.
Sometimes as a mom.
5150.
Right.
I don't know.
But that's why we want to be there. I hate it We all hate it that you're stuck in some stupid hospital that you can't wear shoes with we hate it. We totally hate it. You can't go out. You're like imprisoned.
Yeah.
We totally hate it. On the other hand, if that's the safest place, then and we can't do anything about it anymore because we no longer have control, like someone else has control, then that all we can do is do as much as we can to be there always for you, making sure that you know that we're there, and work toward, talk to people, work towards getting you well so that you can come home, because we don't want you to stay there long term. We don't want none of that. We just want you home with us.
I don't like the idea.
Okay, like if you're not gonna go home, you're gonna go out, then at least someone's gonna be next to you, going with you,
Maybe.
going out. If you're gonna go out, okay, we'll ride with you.
I hope I could change your mind on the whole idea of the 5150. I don't ever want to.
No one's gonna, your family's not gonna 5150 you unless you had like a gun or something.
I can't have guns.
Oh yeah, unless you had some kind of unless we knew that we could not control and you had some kind of weapon, we could not control what you would do with that weapon. If we knew that your life and our lives and other people's lives were in danger, then yes, we would have to. But otherwise, we're just gonna make sure that you're safe.
I guess there's reasonable circumstances, but at the same time, the place it's a prison, and it's a prison on the level of you can't leave, and it's also a prison on the level of you're dehumanized, and they treat you like less than a human, like a child maybe at best, animal maybe. And I hope I can change your mind about maybe me not telling you exactly when I'm manic. I think I could tell you after, right? Did I tell you about, I told you about when I was on LSD, and I told you about that time when I was on shrooms, right?
That someone was with you.
Winston was with me, but he was also, I'm not gonna mention, on the acid trip.
Yeah, but he doesn't get manic like you, so he could still take care of you.
I don't know.
I don't know.
think he was in a
I
weird
hope so.
place, too.
He was in a weird place too.
Well,
And then the other time, Chris was with you, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not exactly. He was. He didn't know I was manic though, or I was going into a weird state again. He I told you about that, right? Well, okay. I don't think I went into detail. When I was on the acid, there was like I was experiencing a lot of weird different things. I was going in that manic state. I thought that I was discovering the meaning of infinity. I feel like every action I was doing, every slight little thing was creating new universes or something like that. And it was all going through me, and I wanted it to end, and I thought it was coming to an end. And I thought I was gonna die. I don't know if I'm just summarizing some of it. It's not everything. But I thought I was like going, and it was all coming to an end, but I was still in the house somehow. And I went to go, I was like, I told Winston, I'm like, I wanna see Chris. I wanna see Chris before I go. So I went to go to his room, expecting that he'd be dead or something, I don't know. But he wasn't. And we went downstairs, he came down and met us downstairs, and he was like totally normal. And then I started to realize, oh, I was thinking crazily for a second. I was like really crazy. I was still intense, but I was coming down. I saw how normal Chris was, how mundane he was, how relaxed he was. I was like, oh, no, what I was thinking totally wasn't true. All that universe stuff, I'm in real life. I'm back in, like Chris is in real life, and then I'm noticing real life is still real life. So I'm coming down, and I was like, I was coming down just noticing how normal Chris was, and I was coming back to a normal place.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I came down. It also could have been just because the stuff was coming out of my system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people could be lost on that, right? They lose their mind on the thing. But I saw Chris and how normal he was. And then when I was on shrooms and I went into that state from that, we were getting tater tots from Knoxville on Santa Teresa. And then Chris was like, "What's up with your language?" Because I was like talking weirdly. Did I tell you about this? I was talking like minimal words, but I was getting ideas out. And Chris was like kind of understanding, but I was talking weird for sure. And I was like, "Oh, that's like a trait of when I'm starting to go into this space, when I'm starting to go into this manic place, right?" And I noticed that, and I was like, "Okay, I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna talk. We're gonna go home." I think we wanted to finish watching this movie, so I just watched the movie, and I was like, "Okay, we'll just finish watching the movie. I'm just gonna go to bed." Because I notice I'm going into this place, and I just want to wait it out and then just let it pass. And that's what I'm trying to do. And what I wanted a psychologist or some professional for was to help me develop more of a method to that. But that's my method right now. I just try to come back down to earth, calm myself down, and then just notice things are mundane and realistic, and I'm not actually experiencing infinite universes or something like that, some crazy stuff.
I wonder if we can find Dennis McKenna.
Did he die?
No, that's his brother.
Oh. Well, there's maps in Santa Cruz. That said, I don't know. I still want to have fun with this stuff. I don't want to make it so scientific and study it.
No, but Dennis McKenna, he's is it Lawrence McKenna?
One of the McKennas, Terrence something?
Terrence McKenna. He's passed on, right? But his younger brother Dennis, he was with Terrence doing all that stuff that they did.
Yeah.
And so he would probably know what you're talking about, and he would probably have ideas of what you can do to develop that.
Here's the thing though. If I do something like DMT or something like that, I'll expect to go off into another place, you know? Maybe even acid. I'll expect to go off into another place. But with someone who I want professional help with, I want to not go into that place when I'm on something like shrooms or something. Did I tell you about like what it feels like for when I'm like on shrooms?
No, but do you think that we can continue this in another room?
Oh, you want to go to another room?
Yeah, because I'm thinking that it's 9 o'clock and Dad usually snores around now.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay, or will it
Yeah.
like totally?
I can pause it.
Okay, pause it.
Yeah. Mom's having it's it.
It's it. Sure you don't want?
Yeah.
It's a delicious. It's it.
I'm not really sure. I don't want one, but I shouldn't have one. I don't want it, I guess.
1, 2, 3 steps. Open. That one.
Oh. I already drink a lot of alcohol, and it's like a lot of sugar in my body already.
Mm.
I was drinking, Douce, like a cognac. I was drinking cognac and Moscato. I was just doing a shot of cognac, and then I chased it with like a sip of Moscato. I drink a lot of alcohol. If I'm gonna go out, like, if I want to go out to clubs and dance and stuff, I'm probably gonna order like 3-4 Jaeger bombs, which is like Jägermeister. It's like a shot of Jägermeister and like a thing of Red Bull or some energy drink. I drop it in, and I'll just put 3 or 4 back. Yeah. That's why. It's like, I don't drink often, but when I drink a lot, I guess. I think that's what maybe qualifies me as like an alcoholic, if there's any. I guess. But yeah. I was talking about like what it feels like to be on shrooms. And I was like, I enjoy it. I like the feeling of it. It feels like the end of a birthday party. Have I told you about that? It just feels like nice, really peaceful. But you know, when I started going a manic state, it's like, it's different.
and I don't want to go to that place. So that's why I wanted like a professional to help me out. So if I start going there, I could reel it back and then just enjoy the high, you know. But yeah, I don't want to. I kind of think about this sometimes, like the LSD trip, stuff like that. I could just be going to like a different place, but it's weird, you know. And I don't want to get out of hand. I just want to have a good time. But if I want to go on one of those journeys, I'd like to know that I'm going on one of those journeys and have the intent to go on that journey. But if I'm just, you know, trying to do something for like a nice, cool high, I don't want that interrupted by my mania or anything. So yeah, that's why I don't exactly want to get too scientific with this stuff, you know? Yeah. But yeah.
I think with Dennis McKenna, it won't be scientific. He just like give you suggestions on what to do to develop the ability to know what's happening and have the wherewithal to do what you need to do.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like it has to do with like my bipolar disorder, and I wanted a professional's help so I could figure that out. But I don't know. I have to develop my own methods at this point, you know. I have to develop it myself because it doesn't exist, at least as far as I've seen with whatever I looked up, with whatever I researched. There's no professionals that could help me out. I don't want to go to like a spiritual guru who will like interpret it in like a spiritual way. I want like, you know, hard facts about this stuff, not exactly like you're just going to another plane or something like that. I want to know like this dimension's definitions of things and the facts, the real world view of this stuff and what I could do. But that doesn't exist as far as I can tell. And I bet that if I go to like some psychotherapist about it, they'd be like, or some psychiatrist, and be like, no, don't do drugs, don't do any of those. So if I want to do this, I don't want to try to do it responsibly. I have to figure this out myself, which is really stupid, I think. Because how do you do it responsibly by yourself? I did seek professional help, but there is no professional help for this, as far as I can see so far. And maybe I didn't look too hard, but I looked and I'm like, no, they don't. There's nobody who will do that for me. I have to figure it out myself.
Make sure someone's with you.
Kinda, yeah, I guess. But so far, I have. If I do it, yeah, I have someone with me, and then if I start going to a place, I actually don't know how I can catch myself yet. But lucky Chris was there and he saw I was talking weird. But that's like something I guess I have to figure out the next time I'm in one of those places, like the signs. And then when I notice that sign, then my method is, you know, just chill out and calm down and let it pass, and then just wait till you're sober again, you know, and then, you know, just don't ride it, don't let it go get out of hand, just come back down to earth, and that's what my method is right now. I don't know if there's like a professional who knows like what to do, what the signs are, everything. I think I have to figure that out on my own now, which sucks, which is stupid. I don't even want to go back. I don't want to go back to the psychiatrist. They didn't want to help me that last time. I'm kind of offended from that. I'm like, I'm reaching out to you because I want your help. You don't want to help me, so I have to help myself. And no, yeah, that's part of my method, coming off the medications. Because there's a risk if I'm taking lithium, and if I take something else, I could have like a seizure. If I'm on lithium and I take LSD, I could have like a seizure, I could just straight up die. And yeah,
what happened to my favorite guy.
River Phoenix?
Yeah.
He was on LSD?
He was on something. Happened right outside of club.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it happen right there. Seizure. Boom. And he was gone.
Yeah.
My God.
So yeah, I think that's dumb. Just because of like the stigma. It's a drug, for sure it's a substance, but maybe if it's less stigmatized, you could have more people who know how to help other people along with it.
Some people messed us up.
Who's that?
The people who made up who created the stigma, who created drugs as no good. So instead of us instead of people using it responsibly, and people doing scientific tests and stuff like that and being responsible with it, people had no choice but to go underground with it, which is really stupid.
Yeah. Do you want to do shrooms with me someday? Next week? Really? Oh. You can't. You have your work, I guess. Do they test you for that? Can they see shrooms?
No, I don't know, but that's our bread and butter. Can't mess with it, but
Oh. It's kind of fun. People have had not fun experiences on it. It's not going to be fun for everyone. I'm not going to guarantee that it's fun.
I always wonder the people who do the ayahuasca though.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder because that's so intriguing to me that they go into this state where they see Mother Ayahuasca.
Mm.
And they all see the same thing.
Mm.
So, like, what is that,
Mm.
Because like you said that, different people have different trips, right?
Yeah.
So, but in this case, yes, they do have different trips within that ayahuasca, but they still interact or be with the same Mother Ayahuasca, That's so interesting.
I guess. I don't think I'd want to have one of those experiences.
I know. Oh, because it's spiritual and you're not into spiritual stuff.
I mean, it's cool, but I don't want to. I heard about like a guy going to do with the ayahuasca with like a shaman or something like that, and he came back and he killed himself. Like, if I'm seizing up and these people are just spiritual people, they don't know what to do medically, I don't want to be around that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going crazy, if I'm like, there's people who are like, I feel like I've seen videos of people on DMT or something that's shaking and stuff, and like the shamans are just like, oh, like that or something like that, and they're still in the spiritual state of mind,
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, I'd rather be in a safe place that I'm comfortable with if I'm doing stuff like that. I'm open to having like a spiritual experience, but I don't want to, be a part of like that, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. You're a spiritual person. You're religious.
I guess, sort of.
There was like one point when like I thought you're Catholic and stuff, right? And you're raised Catholic. And I think you told me a little bit about this, and I was like, oh, no, it's kind of different. It's not just like your fundamentalist Catholicism and stuff. When you spent time with Grandma Betty and stuff, can you tell me about that?
Yeah.
If
Grandma
you want.
Betty's went full circle and then started to go out again. Catholic, and then Buddhism, and then some spiritualists and something, and then she became Catholic again, and then towards the latter part of, towards the end of her life, she was starting to learn Hebrew, and then New Age again, like that. She went around in a circle, then almost went back outside the circle to go around again, I guess.
But you were like Catholic, and I feel like this. I feel like when you're telling me this, it was like early on.
Mhm.
You were like younger,
Mhm.
and you met them, and it wasn't like you're doing spiritual stuff, right? It wasn't like sacraments or anything. You were like,
It was not Catholic. Probably the Catholics would have frowned upon it.
yeah, what were you guys doing?
We were just meeting, meditating, and praying.
Uh-huh.
But we would listen to what we get. When we meditate, when we close our eyes, or we listen to music or whatever, we listen to whatever information we get. I don't know, maybe we were developing our extrasensory perceptions.
Where would you be getting things from? Like God,
Uh-huh.
ghosts, spirits, something, or
Mhm.
just whatever?
Well, I know I saw the Virgin Mary several times.
Uh-huh.
I could feel an angel a few times. I could feel Jesus. I had white light. I could see there's a few times, one or maybe, I don't know, but at least once, but I think more than once it seems like that I would see orbs. And what else? Yeah.
What kind of orbs?
Hmm?
What kind of orbs?
Just like light,
Light orbs.
like white light.
Uh-huh. And what was that? Or what do you think that was?
I didn't know what they were at that time, but I just figured they were white lights. Angels surrounding me. I don't know. God's light. I don't really know. I could still hear the Virgin Mother Mary's voice. Sometimes I could hear angels sing.
I feel like there's some people who think just you saying that's like blasphemous or something.
That's in Catholicism, yeah. But what I realized as I grow older and learn more is that people develop. That's why when people say, "Are you religious?"
Yeah.
I find myself wanting to say no, because religion is created by man. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Catholics, some of those popes were like cruel.
Yeah.
And those Christian crusaders, they killed people.
Yeah. And conquering and power stuff back then.
That's not Christian.
Yeah.
But so I feel like some parts of it were, the words, it was written in some language, right? Some Hebrew language maybe, but like an archaic language. And then people, over time started interpreting it but interpretations are just interpretations. We don't know if it's really real. Besides that, you and I could look at the same thing and call, like, you and I could see this thing, and you could call it something oval, and I could call it something that has a point, but we're looking at the same thing. The seed, the pumpkin seed. So, yeah. So then, I think over time, the interpretations got warped, or they either got warped unintentionally, or they were interpreted to be a certain way, intentionally interpreted to be a certain way to control people.
Did you start thinking this? I feel like you started thinking. I have a feeling like you probably started thinking this way like later.
Like in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were still baptized.
I'm baptized, yes. I still believe in God because God does exist. I think that there's a great error. See, because like a lot of people, Catholics, Christians, all these people that believe that they're Christians or they believe in God, a lot of them, it seems like a lot of them think that God is a human being. But God is not. God doesn't even say what God is. God doesn't say he's a he or she's a she.
Yeah.
I am that I am. Just means that I am. I'm the all in all. What human being is the all in all? Human beings were limited to our, to our space, I guess, our dimension. But God is not that. God is more than that. So I believe in God.
Does that make sense? I told you earlier. I was like, I think God gave me diarrhea for being really angry. 'Cause I need to chill out.
Yeah. But
Or was it-
I know that that's not really God. God doesn't do that. But
That's what made sense to me. It's like I was so angry, I had to calm down.
you gave yourself diarrhea. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's the real truth. You gave yourself that. You have the power in your mind to, if you so choose, sometimes it's not even like obvious to you, like
Yeah.
it's like a subconscious part of you that believes that it should be punishing you for something,
Yeah.
and then you have more power than you know.
I didn't like think it in the moment, but like later on I was thinking like, oh, I think that would make sense if a God was watching me and saw how angry I was, that they would want to calm me down, or else I might do something terrible. And so
It may very well be your soul may have talked to God and say, "Hey, God, give me this." But you know what? I believe that God is you. You are God. Like God is. I guess how I like to describe it is God is the sun, right? The sun is this big ball of light, and this big ball of light is made up of trillions and trillions and trillions of rays of light, right? So you're a ray of that big sun.
yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah. I guess I could chalk it up to just like a body thing, your psychosomatic stuff. I just angered myself into some stomach problems,
Yeah.
and God had nothing to do with it. You know,
The God that is you had something to do with.
when I was manic, I thought that God took things away from me, and I was angry. And I was telling like the friends I met in the psych ward, like I wanted to fight God. I just know that's how crazy I was.
Because you don't know. At that time, and even now, people don't really know God. Who can know God? No one can know God except God,
Yeah.
which is everything. Everything, but when you put all of that, everything together, which is everything, like this table, chair, us, all the animals, everything, you put it together, you condense it,
Yeah.
you know, because we're all vibration, we're all just vibrating molecules, right?
Yeah.
You condense it, you pack it up, and it'll be just a dot.
Yeah. A lot of my viewers come from Reddit and stuff. That's how they hear about me because that's where I promote myself largely, and I haven't advertised a lot
From what?
from Reddit.
Uh,
And it's like, yeah, I feel like I don't know, it's like largely either like atheistic or agnostic and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm just gonna just put a disclaimer out there. This is my mom. And, you know, you're entitled to your own views and opinions, I guess.
or you could just choose my point of view,
Yeah.
if you feel so inclined. But you're free. Choose whatever you like.
What else? Let's see. If I can come back to that, do you have any other ideas of like if somebody has somebody in their life that could be manic but they don't know what to do? They have no experience with it. Any suggestions?
Don't panic.
Also, considering what I told you about like my own methods of just coming back down to earth on my own
I would say don't panic.
without stabilizing or anything, without being forced into a place where I have to stabilize, quote unquote.
Hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Did you just say sorry, God?
Sorry, go ahead. That was go ahead.
Wait, what was that?
What?
You said sorry, God?
No, I said sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What would you say to Kanye West family in case he's in a manic episode right now?
Don't panic.
Yeah.
Honor him.
Yeah.
Remind him that you're just keeping him safe, because he may feel very offended because he may feel like you're controlling him,
Yeah. He was tweeting
and you
about,
probably are.
He was tweeting about, I don't want you to come bring doctors or something to lock me up.
Yeah, it's a sad thing, but that is what we have. This is a third dimension. This is what we have. We as people, as human beings, have created thus far. Although I believe it's going to change fairly soon, but thus far that is our thinking, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And so, given that, we just have to do whatever we can to keep everybody involved safe, in a way that is as much as possible non-violent.
Yeah. I should start a place where people can come if they need to be stabilized, and it's not like a sterile prison-like environment. It's open, run around,
That's cool.
talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
or something. I don't know. I feel like that pissed people off, like the staff and the psych ward.
Mm-hmm.
How human I was treating everybody. I was talking to people like human beings.
Mm-hmm.
I think they didn't like that.
Who didn't like it?
I feel like there's some points where they didn't like that. How casual and human I was being. The staff.
Because you were treating the staff as
No, I
human?
was treating other patients,
Oh.
talking to them with respect.
Mm-hmm. I don't know whether they liked it or not. They probably just like, because every person there
Yeah.
is going through whatever phase they're going through. And some people, certain things can trigger them. And it may be something totally mundane,
I
To
guess
you,
that, yeah.
but it could trigger them. And those doctors and nurses, they know what those are because they read the person's history, and they're supposed to know,
Yeah.
because they're supposed to be watchful of those things. Even though they're not, following you around, they're still aware of where you are and how you're doing, you know, and who's saying what. Because, or not the exact words or whatever, but you know how their mannerism is, so they know, so they can be prepared when somebody's escalating.
That's like a type of language. Somebody's escalating. Out of in. Out of in, out of in, out of in. or something.
Unfortunately, some people have I've been a psychiatric nurse.
Yeah.
Some people escalate to the point where we do have to restrain them, because otherwise they could hurt someone else. They could hurt, you know, they would be too panicked, too maybe they're too paranoid and they think people are killing them or something. They're gonna go kill, you know. They could hurt other patients or staff or themselves.
Are these in the same place as patients who came in for like a suicide attempt or something? So someone in a suicide attempt who maybe just needs to be calmed down for a moment, who's stuck in 5150 for a couple days, is trapped in this place with potentially dangerous people, and they're treated the same. They have the same treatment.
Not same treatment. They have different plans of care, but they are in the same
Treated with the same methods.
same area, same you know, same area.
I think that's dumb.
It is dumb, but you know, economically speaking, that's what we got.
Economically speaking, like, just, you know, based on your circumstances, based on your job, these are people that we have to herd. We have to move them to their room in and out. We have to make sure there's food in their system, and we have to check their vitals. These almost like sheep.
Well, check it out. Here's your opportunity. If you feel so strongly about it, here's your opportunity to show humanity, show the world something different.
Yeah.
A different approach.
Well, and this is their job. And this is their job. It's also the people's job to do this. And so when you're in your job, you have your job, and this is something that you're used to every day. You can make jokes about it with your coworkers, like when I'm checking myself.
They should not. That's actually illegal. It's against the regulation.
I
You
wanna
should
go
not.
fight
Everybody
that
should
guy.
be treated like everybody should be treated with dignity and respect, regardless. You
Told you
know.
about that guy, right? Called me the frequent flyer or something. I was
Oh.
checking into the ER, and they was checking me in for the 5150. Some guy, some nurse, made a comment like, "Oh, another frequent flyer" or something like that. This is their job.
Too bad.
I'm a piece of their job to them, and I think that's true all across the board, nurses and otherwise. Like I'm a part of their job. I'm not a human being anymore.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do treat patients like that. It really irritates the hell out of me. But then, you know, they'll have to deal with their own karma on that one.
They'll have to. I remember you always told me, you know, they'll get theirs in the end, something like that.
They'll get
They'll
theirs.
have to- not exactly like that, but like they'll have to. That's between them and God, and this isn't our thing. But at the same time, these people who have these problems, they're still treating patients poorly, and patients are receiving bad, not even care, they're abuse, you know. So maybe they'll get theirs in the end, but in the meantime, these patients are being hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it takes a good supervisor to see that and redirect their ways or discipline them.
That's just discipline in the strongest sense. They should be like
Fire them.
fired.
Because
Singapore
obviously
style
they're in the
lashes or
wrong.
something.
They're in the wrong job. They're supposed to be therapeutic, not irritating, not triggering.
In the ideal place for someone to go to stabilize, in my ideal place, the staff there are humans who are mundane, like Chris was when I saw him when I was coming down from the acid. Just a calm human being who's being human, and something that can anchor me back to earth. Like this is like, oh, things aren't as crazy as I thought they were. Things are actually normal. And then following
he
that,
know?
what, Chris?
Did he know that you were in some altered state?
A little bit. He saw it, but I don't think he knew what was like that I was coming down, or like how I came down from that exactly.
It was serendipity.
Yeah, Because then I was talking about it like when I was off the shrooms and stuff, and I was like, I told him about it later. He like welled up a little bit because it was like, oh, it's like a painful memories of like me being manic, and I told him like, oh, like this is what happened. He's like, oh snap, I don't know.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
No, he's always gonna be worried.
But I was, it's all just because of him. It's because of Chris, being human, being normal. You know, I think that's the best way. I know you said something else, but I think that's just the best way. Just the people in your life being normal and not forcing you back down to earth, but being conducive to you coming back down. You know?
Agreed, yeah.
Not like stabilizing you, more like not helping you. Not it sounds too active, the idea of like helping someone come back down, but like being there and being ready to help. Assist if they need help coming back down, if they ask for it. Because people in those states, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And I think most people's natural reaction is that no, you can't do what you're gonna do. I have to control you. You have to come back down and be reasonable. But they're not, and they have to find their own way back a little bit. And I think that's what we have to work with. Like them having to find their own way. Because everybody's different. It's not one size fits all. I have to literally find my own way. There's no professionals who could really help me out with this. You know, who could help me fix my bipolar. I don't even know if there's a cure to this bipolar disorder. I don't think there is. That's real stupid. I used to just be depressed, you know. I used to just be depressed, and then it changed.
Yeah, how did that happen?
I know how it happened. It happened. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to make you feel bad, but it happened when I couldn't go back. I'm pretty sure that's when everything happened. When I snapped. When I wasn't allowed to go back to Colorado. I guess. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You understand why, right?
No.
Okay.
I understand you were scared. You, Chris, and Dad were scared. You needed to see that I was alive and I was going to be alive. But I told you when nobody listened. I was coming out of the last psych ward. I was coming home. I wanted to make a change in my life. I wanted to do better, get out of that house, get my own place, do positive things for myself.
We listened, but then we saw what we saw, and you can't just expect people to, like, oh, okay, forget that.
Forget that. Okay, yeah.
But then, I offered you, then, I said, then, Dad will go with you.
No.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. How are we going to make sure that you're okay?
That's not my life then. Someone's still holding my hand and watching me or something. I can't do that. I wanted to do better for myself on my own, on my own terms, and I had plans.
I know, but what if...
And I made sense. This was before I was manic.
Okay.
Sorry.
I guess there's no, I understand that. I understand.
This is before I went crazy. I knew what I wanted to do, what kind of changes I wanted to make in my life, how to become better. And then I wasn't allowed to make those changes, and that's how I feel about it. I wasn't allowed to make those positive changes in my life that I thought would make me a better person, that could make me more functional. But instead, I was held. It feels
But
like.
Andy, I let you go back. I got in huge trouble for that, right?
Not really. I mean,
No,
I took
I
a
let you go
vacation
back.
there. I flew back, took a vacation there. After it was mostly just like, oh, I'm just gonna have a little trip, and that's what I was thinking. I didn't really go back to truly. By then, everything was out of the question. I wasn't gonna go back to school. I wasn't gonna get my own place. I wasn't gonna go put my life together how I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It was just.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was really bad. A very difficult situation for everybody involved.
I understand the reasons, but at the same time, I knew in my heart that I was ready to fix myself.
Mm.
I don't know. And I think that's what made me snap.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, I think it could have been like, maybe I could have been depressed about you guys keeping me home. But I was like, no, I don't want to have this resentment for my family. I have to be happy or something, and this is what I'm home for. And then I maybe just go off the rails. I become energetic and excited and then manic and stuff. Or something like that. Or maybe just my brain doesn't process it. Like the dissonance of like, I'm ready to fix myself. I'm ready to get better, and then I'm not allowed to. Like the one moment in my life, almost of clarity of like, oh, okay. The people that I love, like my friends, the people that I loved, they're not so great. I have to distance myself from them, and I was thinking, I'll still have a relationship with them. I'll be friends with them, but I do know, I recognize that they're too negative to live with, too negative to be around all the time. I have to fix myself by fixing my environment. This clarity after the suicide attempt of like, no, I want to live. I want to live and I want to do better. And then my brain's just like getting ready for that. And I was excited. How stupid was that? I got excited about going back and fixing myself and becoming better, becoming a better person who was doing things, who could get back on track with the things I was doing. And then I wasn't allowed to do that. Like this really clear moment. This so like it's there. Fine, I realize it. And then I can't act on my new discoveries. I can't act to do the self-help that I think that I would really improve my life. I couldn't do it. And I think that's when my brain snapped. After like months of after weeks, And then
I'm
like
so
once
sorry.
I start to realize, no, I'm not gonna go back. It's not gonna happen. And then boom.
I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. Just, I feel really, really badly about it.
It's fine, I guess. I think that's just how it happened, though. Unless you have another idea of how it happened.
I don't. To be honest with you, I was so overwhelmed. Everything just seemed like I was just like managing moment to moment. I really didn't know what to do, what to think, how to be. I just really didn't know. All I could think of was, I gotta keep my son safe. But yeah, maybe if I were more clear and
There was no reason to be clear.
sorry.
It's totally. I
I'm
tried
so
to kill
sorry.
myself, and you're totally worried, and that makes sense. It makes sense to be flustered and overwhelmed from that. That makes total sense. From the outside, I know. I know what it looks like, and I know the reaction is reasonable. I understand that the reaction was reasonable, somewhat reasonable. I understood the logic, and it's sound logic of why I had to stay home. I think it's just I saw something different. I saw it differently. I guess nobody could see what I saw. Only I could, and only I knew for sure. Like I could tell you, but you wouldn't believe me. You're looking at somebody. I think here's the thing. I was thinking like, I'm ready to get back and become better. But what you're looking at, that's what I feel. But what you're seeing is he just tried to kill himself, and that's what like this overshadows any glimmer of hope that I had, is that I tried to kill myself, and you had to protect me. You had to keep me and make sure I was not going to do it again. You couldn't see that I was excited to change my life. Nobody could see that. All you guys could see was that I tried to kill myself. And that makes sense. Only I could have known that I was ready, and nobody else did, and I wasn't. I couldn't make all the decisions. I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever, I guess. It's fine. I'm doing other stuff now. Yeah.
I wanna cry.
Sorry.
I'm sure that was so hurtful for you. I'm sure that was so painful for you.
Do you kind of understand though now?
Mhm.
Have you thought about that? Did I bring that up before? Did I tell you about this before? Really?
Yeah, and I so wanted it to happen for you, but fear was greater because it was the second time,
Yeah.
you know, and it was so close.
Technically, it was the third time, but yeah.
Oh God, you know.
There's another time nobody was there.
God help us.
Except I called somebody, you know, like, no, I'm not gonna do it tonight. Yeah.
And you actually left me a note. Oh, and it just killed me. It just killed me.
Yeah.
Every time I see my arm, God.
I mean, yeah. You know, like, I always think about, like, when I think about suicide and stuff like that, I'm always thinking about, like, this is, like, my principle of, like, it's their body. If they choose to do that, then that's their choice. And that's what I can believe. That's what I believe wholeheartedly, honestly. I believe that. If somebody wants to kill themselves, it's their choice. And I'm not going to tell them, well, I think this is what I'll tell myself, that I'm not going to tell them that, oh, there's things to look forward to, you know, it's not over, it's not the end. I would think to myself that I can't tell them that because they're in a different place. They're suicidal. Of course, there's a reason they want to die. And if I'm being totally honest, I think that, you know, I can't tell you that it's not the best option. Maybe suicide is better for you because this whole life is suffering. You don't want to be here anymore. I understand that. At the same time, though, if somebody like Winston is calling me and he's telling me like he's feeling feelings like that, all that goes out the window. And I'm thinking like, fuck that. You're my friend. I want you to stay here. So all that fear is understandable. It even takes over me, who I believe, like, you heard of Jack Kevorkian or something like that? Yeah. Invented the exit bag and stuff, believed in people's right to suicide, all that stuff. As much as I believe that, if someone calls me with that stuff, it pretty much goes out the door. I'd want them to stay. I don't know if I'd go crazy and be like, I'm gonna force them to stay. Not that you guys did, but I'd really strongly try to convince them to not, because that's just the reaction. That's my fear of losing them. That's my fear, and that's the natural reaction.
To me, yes, I agree with you, and there's more to it, and that is that that state that they are in, they're in one reality, and that's what they see. But there are many realities that they are not seeing.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell that to somebody who's suicidal. I think that'd be insulting to them. You're almost discounting their whole life. Because their whole life, every day they'll wake up and they want to die. And God bless them for every day that they don't, because they're trying to choose to stay alive. It's really fighting to stay alive when you're suicidal. You know? You really have to try to stay alive, to not kill yourself. And you don't see anything else. You don't see any positives. You don't see any hope at all. But you're trying to live despite being hopeless, despite being just so depressed you don't see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel. So people in those situations, if they're in a place, there's no other place to them, and that's their reality, that there is no other place, and maybe our reality is that there is, and maybe our reality is that, oh, you know, we get sad sometimes, but then we have happy places we can go to. They might not have that, so to tell them that, like, oh, you know, there's other stuff. It's like you're not them. They don't see that. You're not that. You don't see their life. It's different, I guess. That said, I'd probably say that to someone who's suicidal. As much as I believe that their own experience is their own experience and their own choice is their own choice, I tell them, no, please don't. You shouldn't. I wouldn't want you to. I don't know why. Because that's not my principles. I don't know. I don't know. That was kind of just a ridiculous time. And then when I talked to the guy about, no, this is something that you said. This is something that you said made me want to kill myself. Doesn't remember a fucking bit of it. He doesn't remember anything. Almost. No, it's not like he doesn't remember it. He changed the story so much in his mind that it's not, he's the hero of the situation. It's incredible. If you ever, you know, listen to him about the situation, the whole story is different. So distorted in a way that I become the villain and he's the hero. And it sucks. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but I lost a lot of friends. And I account a lot of that to that guy because a lot of the friends I shared with him, and because he has this different story about him saying this thing that made me want to kill myself, and he tells that story to other people, I don't think there's any going back to my friends because that's their story now. I look like a fool. I'm not like I don't want to say I'm a victim, but you know, I don't want to victimize myself, but like I don't know.
Then you know what? They're not worth to they're not worth it. They're not worth to
maybe
be
they're
friends with.
gullible. Maybe they wouldn't, but at the same time they're good friends.
No, if they were really good friends, they would have come to you and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" and get your side of the story. So screw them. They can go. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ultimately, they're toxic, but you know, like they were good friends for a while.
For a while.
Yeah. I guess.
Now they're out there ruining somebody else's life.
It's stupid. You know, I called Garrett. When I got back home. I called him. I was like, "Hey, my parents got me this car, the Prius." I was excited. I was telling him about this stuff, and then just probably weeks later, yeah, I'm blocked and stuff just because fucking Justin's talking in his ear about Andrew this, Andrew that,
A-hole.
Winston this, Winston that, you know, talking shit.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, if you ever hear this,
I hope he doesn't. I
want
honestly
you to
want to
know
get a restraining order on him.
that this Mrs. Yule, the one that you disrespectfully call Susan, was always supporting you and your mom and your dad. I think you are just the worst asshole ever. Just so you know. You're welcome.
He's pretty much like the worst guy. He'll take something like that and then he'll spin a whole story of it.
Yeah, that's okay. He'll be found out for what he is.
Maybe.
Karma's a total bitch, Justin.
Sometimes
Just
it
so you
doesn't
know.
happen though.
Hmm?
Sometimes that doesn't happen.
Karma?
Yeah.
OMG, it's so bad.
He's living fine right now. And he will, and
You
here's the thing.
think he is.
No, here's the thing. He will,
There's some inner demons going on in that kid.
he'll be so delusional that he'll convince himself that he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll be fine,
Fine.
which is crazy.
Okay, so let's not worry about him. Why do we have to put him in our space?
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, that's
Well,
people. That's not just
well-
it. That's people. That's people in general.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be so delusional that they'll karma will never hit them as far as we can tell, because they'll seem like they'll be doing fine, and they'll lie to themselves so that they will be doing fine.
But the thing is, that lie, they know it. They know it deep in their very deep in their heart. They know it, and they know that they're constantly lying to themselves, and it's eating them up inside, and they're super severely depressed. But they have so much of an ego and so much defensive mechanisms in place that they're never gonna show anyone else, and they will fool themselves. And then what happens is they have this, like, there's a war going on in their soul, in their minds, in their hearts. There's a war going on. It's a sad thing.
If they
And you
ever,
know what? How awesome it is that we are not that person.
if that ever occurs to them at all, though, well, at least someone like Justin, this is what I know. He could take that sadness and depression, and then he'll capitalize on it and
Go for it, yeah.
create a martyr of himself, so he could self-pity.
Okay, cool.
So then he could feel better about it.
But he doesn't realize that so many people, I know, okay? So many people can be nice to his face. So many his friends' parents can be nice, smiling to his face, but they hate him inside. I know that for a fact. It's all coming out now.
Well, this is like a bleak world, I think. There's people like that in the Oval Office. There's people like that exist and in very powerful positions,
Yeah.
and they control things that
Yeah.
ruin people's lives on a larger scale than just this guy.
They sure do.
And it's dumb.
Yeah, but you know what? They're not going to control. They're not going to control. Ultimately, they're not going to control how I will live, because how I will live is controlled by my own mind and my own thoughts, and I will think differently. I will think what I want to think and do what I want to do.
You know, if I had like that same defect, I guess, that same God complex personality, that martyr personality too, if I had no guilt, just thinking about it now, I think it'd be like the reverse situation. I think he might have tried to kill himself.
I think there are times, though, it's kind of sad. Actually, now I feel really sorry for him, because deep down I think he does want to,
Yeah,
because he knows what a worthless prick he is.
yeah.
Total hypocrite. Go over there and be all holy in church. That's the kind of anyway, all holy in church and be an altar server,
Yeah.
and then over there screw people's lives. I think that, who was that? You know, the guy who sold out Jesus?
Yeah, Judas.
Judas.
Yeah. But you know,
No, enough said.
you weren't there for it. Nobody was. But when it was like me, him, and some other friends and stuff, I went on the other end of that. He had his God complex, and this was hilarious about like our dynamic.
And you went on the evil.
No, I acted like a fool. I was like playing around when he was trying to be serious. And here's the thing that I knew kind of killed him inside sometimes, that people would love me for that and start to like, hop in on the making fun of him stuff. And I felt bad. This is why I'm thinking, if I had no guilt, it could have been me in that situation where I might have said something that made him want to kill himself. Because I did make some jokes, and I don't know if I went too far at all. I might have on some occasions, but I did pull back when I realized, like, oh, I'm hurting this guy. But this motherfucker doesn't pull back. He doesn't recognize it. But I know that if I had no remorse, I might have put him in that place.
Yeah, but might-haves don't exist.
Yeah, I guess.
So what exists is what actually happened.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, back then it was like, oh, I took his shoe. We were at a party with one of his friends. I took his shoe. I put it on the roof, and then people just started dogpiling him. He was on the receiving end of a lot of like stupid stuff. But you know,
Yeah, but you don't have to be that vengeful that you're going to like make somebody feel so low and depressed that they will take their own lives.
I hate talking about
Really?
this because it sounds like this is occupying my mental space, and it sounds like he's winning, which I'm too competitive to.
Oh my
allow that.
gosh, he is so not winning.
But at this, no, just because like I'm thinking about it now
Oh.
after like months, I think that's pretty stupid. But,
Oh, well, okay, let's not think about it. It is not worth that hot air. He even disrespects his own mother. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes his mother have to beg him for a hug.
I mean, now that we're
Does
talking,
that?
I guess as long as we're talking about it,
Hmm?
as long as we're talking about it and being petty about it, in like 8th grade, before he was expelled, like some white kids drew like a smiley face on his stomach, and they called it Todd. I don't know if you remember that. They called it Todd, and they're making fun of him, kind of. And I was his friend. I was like, I'm gonna go kick their ass. Let me go fight those guys. That's wrong. That's messed up what they did. I should go, like what I thought a good friend might be. I should go fight those guys and beat them up and make sure that like, no, you don't disrespect my friend like that, because that's a disrespectful thing to do. He was like, no, it's fine. And he just internalizes it and takes it out on people years later. Isn't that stupid? All this pain. He's bullied for sure. Maybe he's been bullied for sure. All right, so he has been bullied for sure. But what he does with that is he keeps it in, and then when he has the opportunity to bully someone else, then he just hops on that. It's so stupid. You know. And this is probably old fashioned and stupid, but maybe say if I had kids, if I have 2 sons and they're fighting, I'm just like, all right, just let it out. Don't internalize it. Don't start building resentment for each other. Don't start to have a grudge towards each other. You just figure it out then. Maybe not physically fight, but like you just figure it out. You just let it out and settle it there. You don't internalize it so then years later you go find someone and you bully them, right? You know, here's the thing. As long as we're talking about this, I don't even know if I want to bring this up because it might put me in a negative mind space. It might make me feel depressed. But back then, I'm good. Back then, like I was around sexual predators, right? And some of these guys that I noticed about them, like one guy was jacked up, he was huge. But these other guys were like scrawny and like weak looking, you know? Those were the guys who were trying to be a predator to women, you know? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that stupid? Because they're so weak that when they see someone like woman, they perceive them as weaker. They could try to conquer something for once.
Make them feel good about themselves.
Which is so dumb, you know? It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
And it's like, you know, in like the movies, it's like, oh, the scrawny kid, you're rooting for that guy. No, that guy could turn out to be an evil person. That guy can turn out to be an evil person who internalizes all the abuse that they get and then go turn it on someone else once they have like a higher position.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous. Why can't you just be the underdog that people are rooting for, you know? Why can't you just be that and then get better that way? No, you have to take your hurt out on someone else who didn't even hurt you. Not even on your oppressor. Not even on the bully. If you're rising up and taking a stand against a bully, that's different from hurting someone who's weaker than you. It's not the same thing. You're not getting revenge on life.
Yeah, it's true. It's a scientific fact. The bully, a person who has been bullied, is most likely going to bully another.
Yeah.
It's a bad cycle.
And I know, and here's the thing, and this is part of my guilt. I know that I was a part of that with Justin. I guess I bullied him sometimes. It's like
You did not bully him.
Some things could have been interpreted that way. I threw his shoe on the roof. I messed with him sometimes, but it was out of love and a friendship kind of place. But he just internalized it, and then in opportunities where he could get me, he does. And that's what I was talking about. I think with my friends,
cruel.
I was talking about that on the last podcast.
a part of the reason why I was like drinking because I was so sad and it was ridiculously sad. I also didn't want to open up to these guys because I thought they could use this as ammunition against me, and I refused. I refused to talk to someone and help myself. You know, to talk to friends, close friends of mine, because I think this guy could use this as ammunition and hurt me with this. That's so stupid, you know?
Wow.
I should have talked it out, but instead I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to be ridiculous. I don't want to give someone ammunition, and I don't want to be depressed about a girl, so I'm just going to drink instead and numb myself from these feelings that I think are pathetic. I want to distance myself from being pathetic, so I'm just going to numb it out. I don't know. I think we're at 2 hours now. I hope
Wow. 2 hours.
this is my
Did
longest
y'all get
podcast.
bored? I
Yeah.
bet not.
Hopefully not. There's like a lot.
I'll tell you all kinds of stuff if you want, if you're bored. But anyway, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
do,
I'd
like-
tell you about stuff.
We can do more podcasts later.
Yeah,
or I
let's
could
do
help
more
you set up your own too. If you
Sure,
wanna do that.
I would like to have my own.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. I could show you.
That's so awesome because I really want to talk about aliens.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I think people would listen to your podcast.
Yes, all you alienators. Just kidding. There's people. There's aliens. It's real, folks. It's real.
Yeah. I think there's an audience for like, you're into the spiritual, people are in different dimensions.
Yeah.
I think people would be interested in hearing some stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
just whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah.
If
thank
you also want to, you know,
I would like to do my own podcast.
if you also want to get drunk off of cognac and then just ramble into a microphone for about an hour.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I will have a pseudonym though.
Well,
Just so you know.
I already said you're my mom, and then you
Yeah.
said your name. If that's all right, I could try to find a way
That's
to edit that out.
okay. Susan believes in aliens.
I don't know. Well, let's wrap it up, I guess, because it's 2 hours, and that's like the longest one. I don't know if people would listen for 2 hours.
Yeah, you guys probably not, but if you hear this, that means we're done.
All right.
But thanks for going in and out or just keeping the thing on, keeping on the podcast on while you're doing something else. But yeah, hope you have some insights or at least a little giggle from.
Yeah. I usually close out by telling people, like, you know, cover your face and stuff. Stay 6 feet
Oh,
away.
okay, go for it.
What you're a nurse.
I'm a nurse. Oh, so you want me to talk about COVID-19?
I don't know if you want to just give some people
Yeah.
some tips.
Dude, you guys gotta cover your face
Yeah.
and take this thing seriously.
Yeah.
Because the only way we can actually really be free and do the things that we really want to do without the masks is to get rid of this virus by first wearing the mask and socially distancing. And once we eradicate this virus, because it's gone, because we've not spread it to each other and keep passing it on to each other, then we can actually truly be free. So wear your mask, dudes.
Yeah. Okay. Wear a mask. Stay 6 feet away.
Social distance, drink lots of water. Okay, I will do that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, wipe down everything. Wash your hands. Just, you know, be consciously responsible for yourselves, and when you're being consciously responsible for the other. Thank you.
And on that note, I'll see you guys next week or something.
Bye. 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 Bye.